Alright guys, today we're out here at D-Day, Ohio in the beautiful town of Conneaut, Ohio. I'm here representing the 1st Infantry Division with my reenactment group, and I'm here with Jared Frederick from the page Real History. He's here signing books, shaking hands, and doing his thing, and we have a burning question to answer today, which is, what is the worst World War II movie ever made? So we're gonna go around, talk to some reenactors, and try to get their input, see if we can come to a consensus or if we have conflicting opinions, and try to start answering that question.
I'm looking forward to it.
I think it'll be fun. You guys did a video on your page asking people what their favorite film was, correct?
When we visited the Eisenhower National Historic Site, we went around the camp talking to reenactors. They were giving us their best World War II movies. We thought it'd be fun to turn that idea on its head, ask them what is the worst World War II movie.
We'll be a little more pessimistic today, nitpick some historical details. If there's one thing reenactors love, it's ranting about historical inaccuracies. So hopefully we'll encounter some of that today. Alright guys, we are here with our first victim who's going to answer some questions for us about the worst World War II movie. And the ambiance is set here. We have some battles going on in the background. There's a lot of gunfire and everything. But I'm going to take it over to my friend Jordan, who is part of my group. Like I said, we're representing the 1st Infantry Division. And Jordan, I got to know, what is the worst World War II movie in your opinion?
Worst World War II movie in my opinion has got to be 1965's Battle of the Bulge.
Why so? Elaborate on that.
It's you know, it's just got that classic 60s trope, you know, kind of like some of those old school westerns, but laid over a World War II kind of theme movie. It just wasn't my favorite growing up. It was never my favorite.
So there's some fun trivia about that. Dwight Eisenhower so hated the movie Battle of the Bulge that he came out of retirement just to essentially make a public announcement saying how much he hated it, how inaccurate it was, and how it demeaned the complexity and valor of the Battle of the Bulge. So, yeah.
I have to give that movie a rewatch with my current history understanding and everything, because I think the last time I watched that movie I was probably 10 or 11 years old, and at the time I thought it was the coolest movie ever. That scene where they're singing Panzerlied, and the German soldiers are marching, that was like formational in my childhood. I feel like that's part of the reason I am what I am today. Yeah, it's good in that regard.
But the final tank battle takes place in the desert.
Oh my God. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
There were no deserts in the Ardennes. It was filmed in Spain.
Right. I think that's a good pick. I wonder if anyone else will pick the same.
I'm sure you'll find a couple
movie.
others, I'm sure.
Yeah, I have some other ideas for what people might have said. That was one of them, and we'll see if we hear the others.
It's a fine choice, or a not so fine choice.
Thanks so much, Jordan.
Yeah, you bet.
All right, we're here with another reenactor. This is Will Clark. Will, you want to tell us who you are representing at the event this weekend?
So we're representing the 316th Troop Carrier Squadron of the 9th Air Force Division, or 9th Army Air Force. There we go.
All right, and Will, I got to know, what is your pick for the worst World War II movie?
Man, I got to go with Saints and Soldiers Airborne Creed. I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, do you want to go into any more detail? Are there any scenes in that movie that stand out to you?
Man, I think the whole storyline was kind of cringe and like a lot of Hollywooded up types of things, and then, you know, anybody can obviously pick apart the uniforms, but just wasn't really a good movie in my opinion.
So I remember seeing that one. I don't recall too much about it, but I remember the original Saints and Soldiers, where somehow miraculously a paratrooper from the 101st Airborne Division ends up being part of the Malmedy Massacre, which was quite the distance away. And so suffice it to say that did not take place, so perhaps not the strongest foundation to build upon.
I'd say not.
Yeah.
Will, I think that's a fitting movie to bring up while we're at this event, D-Day, Ohio. When I used to come here many years ago when I was younger, they used to do nighttime film screenings for the reenactors.
Yeah.
And I remember one year, I think they might have even premiered that movie here before it was officially released. And so I got to see it back then. Don't remember a ton of detail from it, I think I had a fun time watching that film with all the other reenactors and my friends here at the event, but I don't remember much of the historical content, so I can't speak to that in too much detail.
The mark of a truly good movie, where you can't remember anything about it.
Right.
That's right.
Right. Well, thanks so much, Will. I appreciate you coming out and sharing your opinion on
Absolutely, man.
All right, we're here with some members of the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League, and we've done a full review of A League of Their Own on Real History, so
we'll have to
check that out. So,
yeah, for sure.
All right, so ladies, in your opinion, what is the worst World War II movie and why?
The Longest Day.
Oh.
Honestly, it was just the longest movie.
Okay, so
I can't judge otherwise. I have to watch it all the way through.
Yes.
But yeah.
All right, so it is a long movie. I suspect we have a different opinion, though, in that regard. I'm pretty fond of The Longest Day. What are your thoughts on Pearl Harbor?
Oh,
well.
I mean, I feel like you have to have a romance in there somewhere. I understand not many people. I swing both ways. It's not the best. Like, I wish the war scenes were a little bit better.
All right.
But, you know, you've got to have a love story in there somewhere.
Okay, yeah. Because it's like the same
happened.
duration as The Longest Day.
If you want your girlfriend to watch a more war movie,
this is true.
do some Pearl Harbor.
True. Yep. It's very, very true.
Yeah.
Thank you for your input.
Absolutely. Happy to do it.
All right, we are here with Connor. Connor, tell us about your impression in the unit that you're portraying.
So I am currently underdressed at the moment, but I represent a Pathfinder with the 21st Independent Parachute Company that was attached to the 6th Airborne. They were the dudes, you know, as well as the 101st and 82nd Pathfinders. They jumped in to Normandy, Market Garden, and all that, you know, a couple hours, maybe a day beforehand. Their survivability rate was very nil. I think of the platoon that I represent, only 6 of them made it back from Normandy. There's a couple other different Pathfinder platoons as well, but they suffered some of the heaviest casualties of Normandy.
They were in the thick of it for sure. So in lighter terms, we'll have him ask you the question that we've been asking everybody.
Yes, we're all dying to know. What is the worst World War II movie?
So, in my opinion, it is a good movie, but Nicolas Cage's Navajo Code Talkers, or Wind Talkers, I'm sorry, Wind Talkers.
Yeah.
It is not a very good movie from a historical standpoint, but if you like mindless action, it is a very good movie.
Jared, I'm sure you have some things to say about that.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Classic John Woo. Yeah. That's the director. Yeah. And he excels at mindless action. Yep. He directed Mission Impossible movie. He did Face Off. Face Off is a fun movie, but incredibly poor history. And I remember some of the Navajo Code Talkers reminiscing about that film, and they essentially said, we think it's a decent Hollywood movie, but if you want our story, pick up a book. Yeah, and I think that's the good epilogue for Wind Talkers. But yeah, making the white dude the main character in the movie about the Code Talkers.
Love Nicolas Cage, but could have done better.
Yeah, that's a fitting choice. Yeah.
All right, guys, we're here with Zachary now. Zachary, you want to tell us who you're representing today?
We are representing the British Infantry Regiment of the Hampshire Regiment. We landed on D-Day, and then they fought through the war to just after Market Garden when they were pulled out of the line for losses, essentially. They had been bled dry since D-Day.
All right, and Zachary, the burning question on everyone's minds, what, in your opinion, is the worst World War II film?
Okay, so we discussed this already. Historically, you're looking at historically, Kelly's Heroes is probably the worst, one of the worst ones. If you want a nice 70s comedy movie, though, with a World War II theme, Kelly's Hero is an amazing movie.
Yeah, I don't think that's too controversial of an opinion. That movie's definitely beloved and held in high regard by many, but not for its historical content.
Yeah, you know, I feel that there are like these certain universal truths, though, of military life, whether it be the 1940s or the 1970s. One of my history professors in college, he was a tanker in the 70s. And served in West Germany, and that was his movie. Like, he's like, that is the most accurate movie about how soldiers interact with each other. Right. And I think, like, whether you look at the American Civil War or World War II, that doesn't really change too much. So a weird narrative plot, definitely.
I will tell you, in the modern world in the Middle East, you can still go to a supply sergeant like, hey, can I have that item? I know you got 20 of them, but can I have one of those items from you?
Yeah. I think that's fair. I think it's fair.
Right. Good pick. Thanks for coming over and sharing your opinion. All right, so we talked to, 5 different reenactors and got 5 different answers. They were pretty varied. I kind of expected everyone to say the same couple movies, and I think all the movies I was thinking of were brought up in some amount, one of which you brought up, and we might talk about again in a second here. But what were your thoughts on everyone's pick?
Some of them genuinely surprised me. The Longest Days held in high regard. Kelly's Heroes, for the sort of camaraderie that it exhibits, usually gets high marks. But I can understand both of them. Maybe one being drawn out and one delving a little bit too far into the counterculture of the 1960s and the 1970s. But as we always say, Yep, we are.
Yeah! Let's go, bro.
We can include that.
Let's go.
You want to say hi to the camera?
Hi.
You want to get a picture? Yeah, let's do that real quick, and then we'll keep on filming here.
He was so thrilled, he couldn't contain himself. That delightful interlude aside. All movies are products of their time.
Right.
And I think Kelly's Heroes is a great example of that.
Yeah, I can definitely understand the logic behind all those picks. They did catch me a little off guard, but I can understand them. So now why don't we get into our picks for the worst World War II movie?
Okay. Do you want to go first?
I'll share mine first.
Okay.
I don't have a super strong opinion on this, but I think I'm going to go with Pearl Harbor.
Okay.
You know what they say about the movie Pearl Harbor? The most accurate part of it is that there were, in fact, boats in Pearl Harbor. And that's, as far as what they got right, that's about it.
Right. So. Yeah, we were talking with some of the ball players beforehand. We were kind of, weighing things out of, what does mass appeal mean? What does it take to get people into an audience? And so I think that's good food for thought.
Right, and maybe that does have an audience that it appealed to, but for guys like me, that's just not the type of war movie I want to watch. I kind of expected more people to say that. I thought that was going to be every answer we got.
Yeah,
but.
I mean, like everybody in my 8th grade class knew what the USS Arizona was because of that movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, take it for what it's worth,
Right, I can't
use a foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. And now I'm very curious to know. Because you were confident we didn't have the same pick. So what is your pick for the worst World War II?
I absolutely hate the movie Anzio.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Which is from 1968. It has all the right ingredients. I mean, it has Robert Mitchum. It has Peter Falk before he played Columbo. It has the acting talent. But it is a weird, wackadoodle, squad-level, sideline story that is just horrible, and it does no justice to the scope, the scale, the carnage, the importance of Anzio, and wow, just what a horrible movie it is.
Well, like I said, I haven't seen it, and you're not exactly selling me on it.
At least watch the trailer. You'll get a sense of it.
That'll give me enough of the picture. I'll put that on my list. I'll watch the trailer.
Anzio.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for being willing to work together on this video. It's always a pleasure.
I hope we can do it many more times in the future.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.